Hi there. My name is Shelley Pagitt, and I'm from Yoga Sanctuary. I live in Minneapolis, and we just had a beautiful snowfall. You can't see it, but you can see the sun is shining here. I hope it's nice where you're at today. I'm going to teach a calming class today, and this class is based on a style of yoga in, I would say, the Vini yoga tradition, which is more of a therapeutic yoga. So it'll be very gentle, and it's intended to work with the nervous system and to bring your nervous system from the sympathetic nervous system, the place where we feel stressed out, maybe that fight, flight, freeze mode. And we want to find times to soften that and bring it into the parasympathetic nervous system. So the calming, cooling, digesting place. That can happen through meditation. If you have a busier mind, sometimes it's hard to get to that meditative state. And so what we want to do is move the body in gentle, dynamic ways so that when we come to those resting or restorative still postures, the body has moved some, the breath has moved some, and we are ready to settle in. So that's the idea here. This is a 60-minute class, and I just want to show you a few props that might be helpful for you today. So here in my living room, I have a couple of yoga blocks. So you can see the shape and size of these. If you have something similar, sometimes a shoebox wrapped in duct tape, or a low stool or ottoman might be helpful. And I also have a couple of blankets. We're going to fold those in a particular way here in just a moment. And I have a yoga bolster. You could also use a large couch cushion that's sturdy for a couple of the postures that we'll do today. So to begin with, before we come to lie on your back, make sure that you are dressed warmly. I'll be taking my socks off here momentarily. But to start out with, if you could take 2 blankets, maybe you have 3 blankets is optimal. So if you have 2 blankets and we folded them into a shape, something similar to this, we're just gonna make little rolls out of them. Think of a bed roll or a jelly roll. So I'll lay this on the floor and then roll it up so that it's pretty tight and makes this little roll. It doesn't have to be anything special. I'm gonna set those on both sides of my mat. Oh, I also wanted to mention that sometimes the mind has an easier time softening or letting go or letting things be when we have a little bit of music on in the background. My recommendation would be that you would put on Spotify or whatever musical kind of streaming music that you use, and let that music be non-lyrical, so no words. And then we want it to not have a rhythmical beat. If you have a rhythmical beat, it tells the mind something else is coming, and then it starts to just listen and hook into the music rather than settle into your person, your space. So one of the streaming platforms might offer a yoga meditation music, or simply meditation, or something like binaural beats, or just like some kind of like real low grade consciousness kind of music. So if you'd like that, go ahead and grab that and get that going. Okay, once your rolls are set up, we'll go ahead and come onto your back. And once you come onto your back, let your head find your mat and pull the knees in. Right away, you can feel that pulling the knees in. This would be a forward fold, and forward folds bring us into a little bit more of the parasympathetic nervous system. So you can hold the hands on the knees, roll the knees in one direction, or rock the knees. What this is doing is massaging out the sacrum, the low back, maybe feeling a sense of the breath in the body. We'll do this for just another moment. Let everybody get their props set up. And then as you're ready, tuck the shoulder blades underneath you a little bit, and then set your feet on the mat so they're wider than your hips and possibly about as wide as your mat. You might turn your toes in just a little bit. Let the knees touch one another. Bobble your head a little side to side. And then resting both hands on the abdomen with the elbows wide out to the sides. Feel the back on the ground. My breath is already shifting. Notice if there's any shifts or changes in yours. Let the eyes soften or possibly close. And in this posture, just stay here for 5 to 10 settling breaths. No need to shape the breath unless you'd like to. So if you feel like taking a nice deep inhale, feel free to do that. You could sigh out your mouth, release the breath out the nose. No right or wrong. I'll be quiet for some portions of class today to give you space to connect with your own breath. And I will also guide the breath at times, but try not to let that interfere with your process of natural breathing. Sensing the tip of the nose and the nostrils. Notice the flow of breath coming into the nose. And the effect of the inhale. Maybe the chest or the belly rise as the breath comes into the body. And notice your exhale, the breath leaving the nostrils. Might be slightly warmer than the inhale. Might be longer or shorter. Notice the effect on the body of the exhale, maybe the belly drawing in. Imagine on the inhale, deepening your inhale, feeling the belly expand like a balloon filling. On the exhale, the belly softening as the air releases out of the body. And pause, just notice yourself here at this moment, checking in, attuning to your energy. Noticing if you feel heavy or light, irritated, bored, glad to be laying down, ready to move. You notice without judging. We try not to get hooked into our thoughts. We let the thoughts come and go. And take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Fill up to your collarbones. And as you exhale, sigh out the mouth, letting go. Do that one more time. Feel free to stay here or bring the feet in line with your hips. Bring the palms down by your sides. Try to keep the shoulders on the floor, shoulder blades. Pressing the palms into the floor, we'll lift the right leg toward the ceiling. Point and flex your toes, just feeling the ankles roll the foot in one direction and the other direction. Then we'll push through the heel. This is our inhale. Push through the heel as if you've got a nice rope on the ankle, pulling the foot out of the hip, breathing in deeply. As you exhale, purse your lips like you're blowing through a straw. Lower the right leg straight down, push through the heel. In your inhale, pull the right knee in, looping the leg, lift the heel toward the ceiling, all one breath in. And your exhale, slowly lower the right leg down. We'll do that 4 more times. Inhale, right knee bends, lift the foot toward the ceiling. As you exhale, purse your lips. 3 more. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. Chest stays broad. Last 2. Push into the floor with your left foot. And as you lower the right leg, push through your heels so both legs are active. Last one. Pause here. Let that right heel press away from your body. Reach the arms up and overhead if your shoulders allow. Take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, lift the right leg toward the ceiling. Arms come up and back down the sides. We'll cross the right ankle over the left knee. This is Supine Pigeon. Press the right hand into the right thigh. You could keep your left foot on the floor, or if you have a block handy, you could slide a block underneath the left foot for a little bit more stretch on the outer right hip. Or for more, lift the left foot off the floor and hold the top of the left knee or behind the left leg. We want to do this without getting any additional tension through the neck or the shoulders. So bending elbows is nice. Set your gaze nice and steady, easy eyes, and flex your right toes. That protects the knee that's bent. And then from here, take 3 to 4 deep breaths. I'll inhale and pull my left leg close to me. And as I exhale, pressing my right elbow on the inside of my right leg, our shin, and that helps to open up the hip a little bit more. We never force the body, we breathe with the body. So we link the movement with the breath. On the inhale, pulling the left leg slightly closer to you, and on the exhale, pressing the right leg away. And then close your eyes. Take a couple of more breaths, maybe rocking the legs slightly to the left, just deepening that awareness and stretch through the right hip. Trust the intuitive wisdom that is your body to move and be in ways that are nourishing for you today. One more breath here. We'll come back to the center. If you've leaned in a direction, lower the palms down by your hips for support. We'll unwind the legs. I like to bicycle the legs out a little bit, so feel free to do that in both directions or just set your feet on the mat. And then from here, right foot plants on the floor. We'll lift the left leg high. So pressing through the right foot, feel that stability or that anchor there, and then point and flex your left foot, your left ankle. Rolling the ankle in both directions. Stay with your breath. Connect your feet. Each have 26 bones in them. It's pretty amazing. Then we'll find our inhale. Press the left heel toward the ceiling. Pull the shoulder blades to the mat. As you exhale, lower the left leg down. Press through the left heel toward the back of your mat. And then inhale, loop the knee in, lift the heel toward the ceiling. And exhale, lower the leg straight down. You might purse your lips when you exhale. Inhaling, loop the leg. And exhaling to lower. Then maybe close your eyes. You know the movement. Let your breath guide the inhale and the movement up. Let your exhale guide the lowering of the leg. Last two. Pause with the left leg parallel to the floor. Press into the right foot. Really imagine the muscles are kind of coming around that left kneecap, supporting the leg and the knee. The next time you inhale, lift your left leg toward the ceiling. Cross your ankle over the right knee. Flex your left toes. And then just for a moment, check in with your back and your hips, pushing the left hand into the inner left leg. Big full breath in and out. And then find the right way for you today. Maybe lifting the right foot off the floor, setting it on a block. Right hand can come to the top of the right knee or behind the right thigh. And settle into your breath. If your chin is jutting toward the ceiling, you could take a small pillow or a blanket and lie it underneath your head so that we want the chin in a neutral position. When the chin is lifted, it just kind of feels like we're needing to do something. So just settle in, let the body feel safe here. Take 3 more steady breaths. Possibly leaning the legs to the right. Last full inhale here. Feel the chest and the ribs and the belly expanding. As you exhale, feel that release, maybe tension in the left hip, and come back to the middle. We'll bring palms back down to the floor, unwind the legs, pedal those feet out, both directions. And this time lift both feet toward the ceiling. Maybe rock the hips up off the floor a little bit. Point and flex the toes and the ankles. We'll find happy baby. Bending your knees. You can hold the outside edges of your feet. You could wrap your big toes with your peace fingers. Whatever is good for you with the knees bent. I'll even say that if you have a strap or a scarf, you could take that and set it on top of the feet to give yourself a little bit more space if you have some more tightness in your hips. So whatever is good for you. Take a couple more breaths here. Again, you could rock a little side to side or be still. Bring the soles of the feet together in this on your back kind of diamond shape with the legs, and then open the legs wide. Slide the hands down the inner legs, press through the heels, point and flex the toes here. Relax your eyes, roll the ankles out. Bring the legs back up to the middle. We'll set the feet back down on the mat, about as wide as your mat. Do a little bit of a dynamic twist here. So you could goal post your arms, meaning that the elbows are aligned with the shoulders, the backs of the hands are on the floor, and the elbows are bent. With the feet wide here, we'll take an inhale. As you exhale, keep the feet wide, lower the knees to the left. Maybe that blanket roll is nearby. And then inhale, bring the knees back up to the middle. As you exhale, lower knees to the right. Feeling the scissoring action through the hips and the sides of the body. We'll move dynamically like that a couple more times. Inhaling, knees to center. Exhaling, knees left, maybe look right. Staying with your breath, knees coming to the middle on the inhale, knees lowering to the side on the exhale. The next time your knees are to the left, pause there. You might walk your right foot over to the right a little bit more. This is going to be a stretch down the whole right side of the body, so a lateral stretch. If this hurts your right knee in any way or you feel pinching, don't stay here. Just lift that right foot or right knee back up and put your right foot on the floor. Otherwise, stay for a couple of breaths, maybe sliding the right hand up and overhead and gently drawing the right knee away from the right hip bone. So you feel some stretch between the right armpit, the right hip bone, and the right knee. So we're working into the psoas muscle. Last breath here. Bend your right arm if it's straight. Lift the knees back up to the middle. Rock the knees a little bit side to side. This is good for your back. And this time as you exhale, lower the knees to the right. You might walk your left foot over to the left slightly to get a deeper stretch, or keep it right there. And then possibly sliding the left arm up and overhead. Take a full breath in. And certainly a nice deep exhale. One more breath, making any modifications that feels right in your body. The hips hold lots and lots of unresolved tension and traumas, even little tiny traumas. So breathing here and releasing that is really great for the nervous system. After this exhale, go ahead and bend both elbows Bring the knees back up to the middle and rock the knees side to side. From here, slide the blankets down by your thighs. We're going to find a resting pose, a restorative pose here. So pulling the blankets close in by the body will bring the soles of the feet together and open the legs wide or the knees wide. And hands could rest on the belly or on the inner thighs. Tug the shoulder blades underneath you and look at the ceiling. And recognize here, maybe let the eyes soften or close, that this is a vulnerable position. Even if you're alone in your own space, just sense the shape of the body. And if you'd like more support, more interconnection, or a sense of safety, please put a blanket over the pelvis. We're going to stay here for about 3 minutes. Sense your breath. Sense your body receiving the breath. And let the body be. So no need to actively work the breath. Just settle in. Moments of stillness. And if you notice the mind activating, give yourself permission to watch the thoughts and sense the thoughts coming and going. That you are not your thoughts. You can be welcoming, and then you become the witness. And if the thoughts are bothering you, or they're taking you on a journey or a story, come back to the breath. Sense the breath coming at the tip of the nose or the nostrils. Simply saying to yourself, inhaling. And as the breath leaves, exhaling. Focusing your awareness and your attention on what we know at this moment, which is you're safe, you're breathing, you're taking care of yourself. Sounds or sensations arise around you or in you. Again, notice those, but then come right back to your breath. Noticing the inner leg lines, the groins. Letting the body soften, letting those muscles that help hold us together, the adductor muscles, just let those soften. Let the blankets hold the weight of your legs. Sensing the body in this shape. Is how you feel. If you would like to stay here, please do. If you feel like you're tapped into some nice releasing energy, staying is a great idea. If you'd like to continue on with class right now, take a deep breath into the chest. And an exhale, sigh out the mouth. Maybe even bring one hand up to the chest and massage or tap the sternum, the thymus gland. And bringing the hands outside the legs, set the feet back on the mat, knees toward the ceiling. And we'll go ahead and roll to one side. Take a breath on your side. Just curl up and then press your way up to seated. Keep those blanket rolls as is and just set those off to the side. We'll come into some movement of the spine now on hands and knees. And if you could have your bolster handy and, possibly one blanket. Let's go ahead and take one of those blankets just so that it's ready for you, depending on what shape your spine needs. So we'll set one blanket off to the side. We'll come onto hands and knees here. If your knees are tender or you're on a hard surface, put a nice wide blanket underneath your knees. Otherwise, the palms are pressing on the mat underneath your shoulders. The toes are untucked. Come to awareness of your spine. On your inhale, feel the tailbone at the base of the spine, reaching away from the crown of the head as you're looking down at your thumbs. As you exhale, round your back, push into the thumbs, shift the gaze toward the belly button. As you inhale, tailbone drawing back. This time find a little bit of an arch in the back as you reach the chest forward and look forward just a little bit. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the chin, looking at your belly button. Last one here. This is cow pose without fully dropping the belly. And this is cat pose, rounding and arching like a mad cat. And we'll shift that a little bit. Come back into your tabletop, open the chest. You're pulling the shoulder blades a little bit together. Just look down at your thumbs. Take an inhale here. Without arching the upper back, push into the palms. Press the tailbone toward your heels so you've got a nice long low back. And stay with that movement. Inhale, palms press, reach the chest forward. Keep looking down. And exhale, push into the palms, navel drawing in. Lengthen your low back all the way back to your heels. Please do that 3 more times. Inhaling up to tabletop, open the chest, and exhale, child's pose. This is called Chakra Vikasana. Last one, inhaling to table, push into the palms, and exhale, hips back to your heels. We'll stack the hands underneath the forehead. Take a breath here. Check in with your body and see if this is comfortable for you with your knees bent and fully compressed. And if it is, I invite you to stay here and possibly get your bolster. So we would open the knees up a little bit wider, slide the bolster in between the legs, and then reaching forward, lengthen the spine. As you lower down, one ear comes to the bolster. If you need a little bit more lift in the bolster, you could use a blanket and let the chest fall or the head fall onto the blanket. You don't want to feel as if you're reaching for the bolster or that the head is hanging down. So if you're going to settle into your child's pose here with your bolster, stay there. And I want to show an option for you if your knees are talking to you. So 2 options actually. One would be to take your blanket and roll it up, slide it behind you, resting it on the calves so that the knees don't come into full compression, so that when you lay down, there's a little bit more space in the knees. So that would be the first option. The second option would simply be to come into a seated posture and take stump pose. So stump pose, knees are bent, cross the arms over each other on your knees. And then inhale to kind of lengthen the spine a little bit. And as you exhale, resting the forehead on the backs of the arms. Honestly, this feels to me like a very similar pose to child's pose without compressing the knees at all. The awareness moves inward, you're facing down. Relaxing your jaw in whichever posture you're choosing. Relax your eyes. And notice the skin on your forehead. Let the forehead soften, the crease between the brows soften, and the skin on the forehead moving slightly toward the eyebrows more than the hairline. Again, taking yourself off of high alert and putting yourself into the parasympathetic nervous system. All is well. All is well. All is well. Use your practice of watching the breath if the mind is active. If you're in your child's pose on the bolster, the next time you inhale, slowly turn your nose or forehead toward the bolster. As you exhale, switch sides. Other ear comes down. Feel the body supported. Take that nice big exhale, letting go. Barely a transition, just stay with that nice settling in feeling. With your keen awareness, notice the subtle shifts in the body, the mind, your energy. We'll stay here for about 2 more breaths. Maybe you want a deeper breath, breathing into the back of the body, maybe the space between the shoulder blades, the back of the heart. Just noticing the pattern of your breath. And if this pose is working really well for you right now, please feel free to stay. If you'd like to transition, on your next inhale, turn your nose toward the bolster, and exhale, stay there for just a moment with the face down. Sliding the hands back by the knees, lift the chest up, or if you're resting on your forearms, lift the face up. We'll set the bolster off to the side for a moment. And then if you're on your knees, go ahead and come back into your tabletop pose. And if you're sitting down, just transition also with us. We'll tuck the toes under, pressing into the palms. Push the hips back toward puppy dog, walking the hands wide as your mat, pressing the hips back. Keep the belly drawing in. And if you'd like more release through the backs of the legs, plant the hands on the mat and lift up and back to downward facing dog. So if that works for your body, extending through both heels and then bending into one knee, straightening out, coming onto your tiptoes, exhale, bending into the other knee, and do that one more time. Just kind of paddling out those legs and hips again. Feel free to let the hips sway a little from one side to the other side. Then inhale, lower your knees down. Exhale, cat pose. Tuck the chin, look at the belly button. And coming back to center, we're going to transition to a really wonderful, one of my favorite restorative postures, which is to reset your neck. So if you have blocks, I'm going to show you this. It's a heart opener. And I like this one a little bit better than the second one, but they're both fantastic. So this one would be with 2 blocks. So the first block is tall, and that's for the back of the head. The second one is for behind the heart, those shoulder blades again. What this will look like is if I come down to my back, just kind of measure out, you'll see that that block is really behind the heart or between the shoulder blades. And you want it to feel that the shoulder blades are supporting the chest. And then the head is resting on that top block. It feels good for me to lengthen out my legs and relax my arms by my sides. And take a deep breath in and out. And this supports the natural curve of the neck and helps the curve in the upper back that we do so much forward leaning. So if that's not available to you, set those blocks off to the side. And then finding your bolster or your couch cushion. This is a wonderful kind of chest opener and expander. You'll take your bolster down on your mat and then take one blanket with the fold about midway through that bolster. And then this is where you just want to be aware of your back. So your back is about 6 to 8 inches away from the bolster because you don't want your low back right up against it or it's going to cause some tension in your back. So scooch a little bit away. And when you lie down on the bolster, the same thing, the upper back or the space of the shoulder blades is supported by the bolster and the blanket is supporting your head. I like just a little bit more support for my neck here. So I might roll that blanket one more time. And then same thing, knees can be bent and feet wide, knees touching one another to support the back, or extend both legs long and possibly put a blanket over the legs or the pelvis and the arms in the same position. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath you, relax your arms out to the sides. Highly recommend taking 3 or so really deep breaths into the center of the chest. And as you exhale, either sigh or just let the breath go, let that energy move or open at the center of the chest as you breathe in. And as you exhale, softening down through the chest, the arms, the hands, and the fingers. No tension in the toes or the legs. And allow the body to be held. Eyes can softly close. If you have an eye pillow or just a cloth, you could put that over the eyes. Just settling in and feeling the shape of the upper body, just conforming to those props. Imagine you are a popsicle in the warm summer sun, and that outer layer is absorbing that beautiful sunshine. and letting you soften, letting the skin and the muscles soften. You could make yourself 5 or 10% more comfortable. Feel free to make an adjustment. Never forced to stay, but invited into stillness. Trusting that in the stillness, in the silence or the quiet, the body is indeed renewing, knitting itself back together, connecting with your wholeness. We'll be here for about 1 more minute. I'll hold the space for you as you continue to soften, to release, and to receive. Sensing the chest, the heart center. Please take 3 deep breaths, filling up, breathing in love, breathing out love. Last one, breathe in at the center of the chest and send it out and down through the torso, into your limbs, into your head. If you're on the blocks, to come out of that pose, bend your knees, set your feet on the floor, and then listen to my words. You'll just reach your hands back to your head, help the head up off of that block, and then either hold the legs and come up to seated or roll to your side. If you're on the bolster, you just reset your neck, so we don't want to undo that. Bend your knees, feet on the floor, and then maybe to your right, lower the knees to the right, and you'll just roll right and let your head slide down to the right arm. So you're onto the floor or turning over onto the bolster and the blanket. And then from there, inhale and press yourself up to seated. Check the time. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple of breaths of a twist on each side. So let's do a seated twist and using your bolster. So if you could take your left hip against your couch cushion or your bolster, you might keep a blanket here if you were already using it. And the legs are in a side saddle position. If you have a second blanket and you'd like to cover the legs or the hips up, that can feel really nice here. So with the legs wide, the knees wide, we'll inhale, press the palms onto the legs and lift your spine. As you exhale with left hip against the bolster, twist toward the bolster. Use the blanket or not. With hands on the bolster, draw the chest forward, so a little bit of an arch, and then reaching the chest forward, keeping integrity in the spine, lower your ear back down to the bolster. And again, for your body, it might feel more comfortable to put an additional blanket onto the bolster as you lie down. For me, that rounds my back out too much. And then settle in here, breathing down the whole right side. If you'd like a little deeper twist on the right side, You could sweep that right foot back behind you. Do let the arms relax. So open the elbows away from the bolster. Check in with your neck. Imagine the crown of your head, again, in line with your tailbone. So you're not tucking the chin way down, but you've got nice spaciousness through the back of the head and the neck. And here with the heart held, just letting whatever is a burden to you be composted right into the prop. Finding stillness for a few more breaths. One more nice deep breath here. To release out of this posture, just wiggle the fingers a little bit. Take a breath in and out. Then pushing into the palms, lift the chest up. Keep the props right where they're at and just shift your body. So I'm going to turn my right thigh and hip toward the bolster. Maybe replace your blanket. Then palms on the bolster, twisting toward the bolster, lift the chest, and as you exhale, lower down. Open the elbows, lots of space in the arms, and look left or toward your knees. Take a deep breath in and a nice breath out. And again, adjust that left leg if you want more openness through the left side of your waist. Pull the left leg back behind you a little bit, widening the knees, and then breathing in that whole left side. Check in with yourself. Each time you exhale, letting the body be held a little bit more. Letting the body feel heavy and steady. Please take about 3 more breaths here, emphasizing your exhale, letting go. Noticing your left nostril, breathing in more deeply into the left nostril, breathing out through the right. This is just a mental breath. Take one more breath here, breathing in through the left, that's the moon channel, and breathing out the right, the sun channel. The left is calming and the right is activating. Feeling yourself in this posture, just press into the palms, lift your spine up, and then coming back to center. If you've taken off any warm clothes and you want to get warm again, please do that. And then we'll use the props of the bolster and the blankets. So a couple of options here. You could simply drape your legs over the bolster and use your pillow or a blanket up by your pillow. for your head, that would be fabulous. Or you could rest your legs up on a couch. So if you're near a couch, you could turn toward the couch or a chair. And for a slight inversion, just put your calves up on the couch. And then lying back down, put the blanket underneath your head here. So inversions are great for the heart. Anytime the feet are above the heart, it's really good for the blood and circulatory system and lymphatic system. So either option, just work with what you've got and make sure that you're nice and comfortable. So I'll give you a couple of moments to settle into your Shavasana pose. And Shavasana means corpse pose. So in a corpse pose, we're not moving, we are definitely not working, and we are just settling in. And once you settle in, I invite you to sense the ground beneath you. Sense the floor, and notice all of the places in your body that are touching the floor. Let your body be held. Let your body rest. Sensing the space that you're in, these sounds, these smells. And then bringing that awareness to the skin, the outermost perimeter of your body. Noticing any sensations on the skin. Sensations come and they go. Moving and changing. Sense that place inside of you that is beneath sensation. A place inside of you that is still, that is steady. And bring your awareness to the mind, the thoughts. Noticing, much like sensation, the thoughts come and they go, fluctuating and changing. For a few moments, notice your thoughts. Watching the thoughts come and go. And sensing that place inside of you that is beneath thought. The place inside of you that is still and steady and quiet and whole. Notice your breath passing through the nostrils. Notice your right cheek, keeping the body still. Aware of your right eyeball, the right eye socket, the right eyebrow, the whole right side of your face and your brain. The body is still, become aware of the left cheek, left eyeball, eye socket, eyebrow, the whole left side of your face and brain. Sensing the left side of the face and brain and the right side of the face and the brain. And both sides together. Sense the space between your eyebrows. Behind your eyes. Sense the darkness and the quiet behind your eyes. Moving down through the center line of the body. Bring your gentle awareness to the center of the chest, the energetic heart center. This is a poem called Remember by Joy Harjo. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember the sundown and the giving away to night. Remember your birth, how mother struggled to give and form and breathe. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember, the dance language is that life is. Remember. The space of the heart. Remember. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Feel free to stay here if you'd like, for as long as you'd like, or slowly begin to find some small movements in the body, maybe sliding the pads of the fingers along the pad of your thumb. Maybe rolling the wrists out or bobbling your head side to side. And then pull your knees in, release your spine. Take a full breath here. Remember. Maybe set an intention for the rest of your day. As you come up to seated, bring with you a word or a phrase or a feeling or sensation that you'd like to carry forth for the rest of your day. We'll gather hands at heart center. As you gather hands here, gather yourself. And we'll hold ourselves and one another with compassion, with kindness, with mercy, believing that we are light and that we can shine that light on other lives. Tuck the chin, just a gentle bow, honoring the light within you. We'll spread the pinky fingers forward, seeking to see, to know, and to honor the light in all beings. Peace be with you today and all days. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste.